Every time I see something and I think, that's weird, my immediate second thought is, what isn't weird this year? I'm JT Displays, and this is where I stand. Conversely, Matt, roll an intro.
Allow me to put this into frame for you. This is where I stand.
Political briefs, folks. A lot of stories I would like to cover here. First of all, on Tuesday, Wisconsinites rejected the Trump-backed conservative candidate for their state Supreme Court. Hotly contested. In fact, the most money spent in an election of that type, with Elon Musk reportedly spending over $23 million to lose. So if you like people burning money, hey, there you go. A 25-hour filibuster was held on the floor of the Senate by Senator Cory Booker that broke the record. So Cory Booker, congratulations, you have a new record. Ultimately, I think this is a good stand here for he being part of that leadership has really been taking a lot of blows here. Rightly so. I feel like the Democratic leadership has not really done enough to show us how they are able to resist this Trump administration up until this point. I think like this really was kind of that turning point where we start seeing a little bit more backbone from some of these Democratic leaders. Moving on. Department of Justice is seeking the death penalty against Luigi Mangione in his case. So just to keep you guys updated on that, they're seeking death penalty there. No word yet as that trial progresses how that's going to unfold here, but I'll keep you in the loop on that one. Might have gotten lost in the shuffle for some of you out there. And then finally, today on Saturday, as this is being recorded, massive protests erupted all over the nation. Folks, all across America, 2.3 million of them standing outside, protesting, holding signs. Started this recording, I held this back here. After this, I was like, well, I was going to record anyways on Saturday. I got to include it now. Shout out to you, America. You forced me to cover this because your voices matter here, and, you're making the difference. It's all over. Where I stand on all this, obviously, like I said, millions and millions of Americans are standing up and making their voices heard. Not just Democrats. It's not just liberals. It's, centrists. It's libertarians receiving even Republicans and telling us, those in charge, this is not okay. And many times it's unconstitutional. But anyways, I myself have gotten involved with a nonprofit called Respect Missouri Voters, and we are beginning to see some of our leaders start to take action against these unconstitutional grabs to consolidate power in the White House. Those that should have figured that out had some time to kind of get on the ball to stop this. Ultimately, though, once they realized they're not playing chicken, I think now the alarm bells have kind of gone off. Even Rand Paul is saying the tariffs that got announced this week here are crazy wackadoodle. And Rand Paul is a guy that knows a thing or two about crazy and wackadoodle. What can I say? A broken clock is right twice a day. But voting is just a start, though. So if there is this cause that you believe in, I strongly encourage you to get more involved, find more information out there. A lot of people, I think, not knowing how to get involved. There are town halls that are being held, both virtually and in person. Moving on, though, to sports. That's right, we're going to get back into sports here. We always got to give you some sports, guys. You know me. And what sports do I like? I like myself my cycling. We got to talk about cycling because we got Americans winning in spring classics. That is something that we haven't seen in a while. And it's my man, Nielsen Paulus on EF Easy Post, winning Dwars door Vlaanderen ahead of 3 Jumbo-Visma riders who included in their ranks Wout van Aert for a sprint finish there. And Nielsen Paulus, who's traditionally more of a climber than a sprinter. He's not known for his kick, but he can get up some punchy climbs. He outkicked Wout van Aert, who again is still suffering from a pretty nasty knee injury that he suffered at the Vuelta a España last year. Required a bunch of screws in his knee, and some of the close-ups you could see is definitely affecting him there, and he didn't necessarily have the kick that we expect from him, unlike other competitors such as Mathieu van der Poel, who has been on absolute firestorm, as has Tadej Pogačar, who have both gone off to wins several classics themselves, including Strade Bianca, I believe, for Tadej Pogačar. Of course, the queen of the classics, Paris-Roubaix, has yet to unfold this year, and that is going to be kicking off April 12th, next Sunday here. It is available in the United States on Peacock or... Moving on now to sporting. A lot of big news here for Sporting Kansas City this week as they said farewell to Peter Vermes. Peter Vermes was their manager. He was there for the rebrand. He really has been there for a very, very long time. The third winningest coach in MLS history. Peter, thank you for your service to the club. It was time, I felt, that the change was necessary. After 6 weeks into the MLS season being winless, Kerry Zavagnin, though, now acting as interim head coach. Saturday night at Children's Mercy Park, it is against their hated rivals, St. Louis FC, in the I-70 Derby, where Sporting KC able to get a 2-0 victory over St. Louis. This is my favorite part of the video here, where I stand on Sporting KC. This was a move that I felt was long overdue and maybe 2 years too late, but we'll see how Kerry Zavagnin moves on after all, getting that first 2-0 victory, the first victory of 2025. Oh man, like I was ecstatic watching that in real time. Absolutely incredible. Jovic with the brace there, thanks to Manu Garcia finding him the ball there. Again, just finding that space underneath Jovic there. Jovic just likes to have that. Once you get that ball at his feet here, he is so deadly, so dangerous there. And it took nothing for them to score in the second half. First half, it was a tale of two halves there. I thought this was going to be, oh no. That all got erased by the 70th minute, where this team really started clicking together there. Daniel Shallowy warmed my heart there, wearing the captain's armband in the Derby. This is a boy that's been, the man now, that grew up in the SKC system as a homegrown, dedicated to the club for a long time, and so it's good to see him wearing the captain's armband there. We'll see how long he wears it for, because I got a feeling that Jake Davis is kind of the heart of the team in so many ways, and I would not be surprised to see Jake Davis take over as the captain either next season or perhaps the season after that. It was really dynamic in this game all game long there, and really helped bail him out many times in that midfield there. Creativity is what set up a lot of things there. We saw a lot of high press from them in ways that we haven't seen from a Sporting KC side in a long time without them getting punished. Miller, their super draft pick there, the central defender, played phenomenally. I'm still not in on Bartlett as a central defensive midfielder there. He just tackles too hard. A little too aggressive as the 6. Got to be very careful with him, because so far every team has found a way to try to exploit him. He got on a yellow card early, and that neutered him as an aggressive tackler there for much of the game. And it wasn't until they brought on substitutes in the second half that they were able to mitigate that. I think it was a really good bounce back game. You're always going to have a new managerial bump after they've just fired somebody in soccer, because it gives them an opportunity to kind of get their feet, a fresh start for them. And I think Kerry Zavagnin did a very good job with this game. We'll see how he does moving forward here. He's a man that's been in this system here in Kansas City for 17 years, so been around for a long time. I'm excited to see, what new energy they're able to bring now that they're able to get that first win of 2025. Break the duck on that one there. Get the water off their back. Shake it off. Feels good. I love saying that it's a SKC winning and not STS. On to technology briefs. We have a lot of technology stories that happened this week here that I want to cover. Intel has tapped Lip Bhutan as their next CEO. Their former CEO, Pat Gelsinger, left the company in December 2024. Almost immediately after that, within the week, TSMC announced a partnership where they are going to invest in Intel's foundry. That is something that would potentially be on American soil, thus creating American jobs, manufacturing there, which we're still heading to a recession, let's be honest. We'll see if we can get some American jobs, so that way these new chips cost more. Still, they've had a lot of flops recently, and I think this is an opportunity here where they got to change the narrative, I think. FBI says there's other things that don't look good. Ransomware scams, free online document converter tools, things that send things into PDFs. A lot of those are free tools, or actually end up able to implant ransomware in the package there as well. So it's one of those things where you got to be careful. There are legitimate ones out there, but again, don't just click on the first link that you Google, folks. Please try to use a little common sense on the internet these days. Qualcomm has also announced 3 new gaming chips, the G series of chips for gaming handheld. Big dot little design, absolutely crushing it in the mobile space here. So these new G series chips here, performance cores and efficiency core, it's probably going to be fine. You know, we're already, gaming handhelds are more powerful than they've ever been in the history of gaming handhelds. This is just going to make those look even better, to the point where mobile gaming is going to, I think, become a much bigger segment. I think a lot of people are going to prefer having that ability to be on the move with their games wherever they want. If they can improve battery life, I think that's where we're going to see a lot more innovation. Apple's really kind of upped its game, putting in so much power in a lot of their stuff. Moving on though, tariffs, I mentioned it earlier. Tariffs. Every single country getting at minimum 10% tariff, except for Russia and North Korea, which didn't. Maybe that says something. Switch 2 launching on June 5th. That was announced this week as well. However, they did roll back the pre-order date because the tariffs were announced after the Switch 2 launch date was announced. So that they said, hey, tariffs are coming on us. Let's just wait to see how much this is going to affect our pricing to actually build this thing. It was originally launch price was reported at $450, which is a bit of an uptick from the original launch price of $299 of the original Switch. This does come with a good LCD screen on it there, but not OLED. Overall, it is a much needed improvement over the original Switch hardware. So many games got announced with that wasn't Bloodborne 2. It was just, we've seen the meme. It's not Bloodborne 2, but that is exciting. And Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 on the Switch 2 as well. All the third-party support that the Switch 2 is going to be getting on launch. That is very exciting as a gamer. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, talk about TikTok. You're still on a lifeline there. You got 70 more days. After the deadline passed, Trump decided to extend the deadline 70 more days because who cares? He felt like it. Amazon did announce quietly, as quietly as Amazon can, put in a bid to buy TikTok. There are competing offers, though, as well, from the OnlyFans creator Tim Stokely and a crypto foundation jointly, as well as a bed Oracle, the makers of Opera GX. And thank you guys so much, you, the viewer, for watching this. If you want, you can follow me other places there. We got me on the TikTok at JT Displays. You got me on the YouTubes at JT Displays. You got me on the Twitch at twitch.tv/JT Displays. You got me on the Blue Sky at jtdisplays.bsky.social. And then Threads and Insta, the meta platforms, you can find me on at JT_displays. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you the next time there is a week to break down for you.